How do you find the will to fight back against a world that wants to keep you sedated, average, and stuck in place? Join us for the tools and strategies you need to create a life of abundance, discipline, and high achievement. This is the Tactical Empire with Jeff Smith.
Welcome to another edition of the Tactical Empire. I'm here with Sean again, and what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm in that post-week tattoo phase right now where it's itchy, peeling, sunburn. So yeah. My arm's feeling great.
Yeah, you look like you're getting some serious hours put in. How many hours is it going to take?
We just have a little half day left. So this has been elbow down to finish the full sleeve. We did almost 3 8-hour days. So 24 hours. And we probably got another 3 or 4 left. But that's kudos to my tattoo artist at Drilled by Willis on Instagram. He's so meticulous, man. Like you're doing like a centimeter at a time because he wants everything to be perfect. And I'm okay with that.
Yep. Understand. Man, at least you're reaching the home stretch.
Yep. We're almost done.
I am one of the 0.001% of people to come out of special operations with 0 tattoos.
Impressive. And,
that is my one of my claim to fame. So today, what we're going to talk about is fitness a little bit because it's one of our core pillars and tenets within the Tactical Empire, and we wanted to kind of touch on it because people, I think, overanalyze this, overthink it. They overcomplicate it more than anything. And I know that I have a very simplistic approach to fitness. I think you're pretty consistent in what you do with regards to your time of day and what you try to get in. But I'll let you start with your philosophical beliefs currently, considering the fact that you're 35 years old, have 2 kids, and it's not your main priority necessarily.
Sure.
I don't want to undersell it, but I think we both have transitioned into a phase where health and longevity is probably our primary focus.
Yeah, fitness is a priority in my life. It's not the priority in my life. It's the tool that's going to help facilitate the main priorities in my life, which is being a good father, husband, and a financial provider to my family. And so fitness has always been, since the 8th grade, a part of my life. It's certainly evolved, especially over the past couple years. But for me, it's got to be consistent, usually 90%+ of the time, the same time of day. So, I wake up, I have my morning routine, which is a part of my fitness, but I'm just going to talk about working out for this sake right now at this part of the podcast. And, my family's at home in the morning. They leave to go to daycare and my wife goes to work. The very first thing I do as soon as they leave is take my dogs on a 25 minute walk, bring the dogs back in, and I leave and go right to the gym. I'm at the gym maybe for an hour. If it goes over an hour, it's because I'm doing a 20-minute sauna. But my workout time is just compressed. It's not a lot of time working out. I have owned a CrossFit gym for 12 years. Do I do CrossFit? Yes, but I'm not doing intense CrossFit. I'm just taking the basic principles of the compounded movements in one movement at a time, couplets, triplets. I don't follow any specific plan. I'm just doing, basically people talk about intuitive eating. I'm doing intuitive working out. Whatever my body feels like doing that day while focusing on the major muscle groups with an accessory or 2, it's 2 or 3 things a day. One day focus on pure strength, 2 days focus on aerobic, and the rest just doing what area of my body probably needs to be hit that day. And the cool thing is I'm moving at like 70, maybe 80% effort. And my goal there is 1, so I can move well, 2, so I can not get hurt, and 3, the second my workout time is done, I'm moving on with my day. There's I don't need a recovery time. I'm not sitting in my car drenched in sweat, trying to catch my breath, feeling like I need to vomit. My legs aren't hurting. My arms aren't hurting. I literally can just move on to the next task of my day. And that's where I'm at now as 35-year-old husband and father and business owner. That's it. That's it. It's not that complicated. All the movements I do, everyone can do. I'm not doing anything super complex.
Yeah.
How about you?
Oh man, I have covered the gamut in this realm, from simplicity to over complication. Um, what I've kind of settled on now, is just extreme consistency with what I'm doing. I'm lifting weights like 5 days a week. My wife writes my programming, actually, because I do have to follow a program or I'm kind of all over the place. I'm not great with my consistency when I don't have a program to follow. I'm good at checking boxes, and so my workouts stay between 45 minutes and an hour. When it comes to weights, I have been, part of my streaks and part of my habits and everything that I try to keep track of is 45 minutes of cardio as well as a lifting session. And so I do try to do twice a day. And I've been going at 4 o'clock in the morning to do the gym and lifting. And so that works out well Monday through Friday for me. And then I just do cardio whenever during the afternoon, or morning time whenever I'm freed up to do it. I'm a lot more flexible in my schedule than you are. I'm not super rigid about it. I go work out whenever I really feel like it. Besides the 4 a.m., the 4 a.m. just actually works better for us because I go at 4. I'm home by 5:30. I lift and I do the sauna, and then I'm home by 5:30 and my wife goes at 5:45. And so we kind of switch out in the mornings, and that keeps everybody more consistent as well. I think that and honestly, I just want people moving more consistently because I honestly think that provides the best results no matter what. And so that's why I did the whole 250 miles of rucking from September to the end of the year for people. Just because I want them to understand that their results come from just doing it more often. It's not overcomplication. It's not any of that. You just get out and move more miles, more days consecutively, and everything will really start to change. Mobility is one of my biggest things, and I'm terrible at it. I don't spend any time on it, and it's been like that my entire life. I don't really warm up. I am terrible about stretching, and that is something that will be part of my priorities as we get into like annual planning and shit like that, because my hips are a mess. My knees up and down the chain are tight and just creaky, and I'm moving some weight. And so when you do that compounding with not stretching and things like that, like you should, it limits your mobility over time, obviously. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I said it earlier. I've been working out since the 8th grade. My training age is very high, right?
Yep.
I'm 35 years old, but I've been training since the 8th and ninth grade. And again, it's evolved over time. And so some people are like, well, you're already just healthy and fit. If I had to put myself in the shoes of someone that maybe hasn't been moving their body, I mean, I do. If you see my social media posts, it's like when it comes to fitness, move your body. I don't care what it is. If it just has to be with walking, obviously adding a little weight to it would be great. But if you haven't done anything, just start with walking. Move your body, eat real food, sleep enough, which hopefully is 7 to 8 hours, and get outside. So I don't want to overcomplicate this for the people listening that may not be doing anything consistent with their fitness. Nutrition has got to be a huge part of what you're doing when it comes to your fitness. And I, again, after owning a gym for 12 years, I hate to say this isn't my sales pitch to get people to not sign up at my gym, but there are people that are doing fitness and they haven't changed anything about their eating, and they are not getting the results that they thought. And so if you're someone out there, like I would much rather have people put, their if they had to put their eggs in a basket, so to speak, pun intended, or put their focus somewhere, it's cook real food, buy real food. If you don't have the time and you have the money, get someone else to cook and make you real food. Focus on 5 to 10 meals that are super simple and that are real food, whether it's something that is grown from the earth or eat something that's grown from the earth. Focus there. I'm probably 80 to 90% real food, right? Eggs, chicken, rice, steak, vegetables, fruit, nuts. And then, yeah, I have some processed carbs. I have chips, I have ice cream, but it's not a lot. It's certainly in moderation. So where do you come in when it comes, and you got a family of, 6 to feed. So I know things have probably changed for you guys over the years when it comes to nutrition, but how do you balance the nutrition side of the fitness pillar?
Oh man, we eat super healthy. Getting plastics out of out of our foods, things like that. That's really been a priority of my wife's over the last 3 years, probably. And so for me, I'm lucky that I really don't like sweets. So
Mm.
like that's not a thing for me. And like we'll do Halloween tomorrow, and I would be surprised if I got into the candy at all. And so like I just don't really have those temptations very, very much. I think one of the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to this stuff, like if you're trying to set up your habits for next year or whatever, like most people drink far too many calories. And if you just simply say, I'm going to make a habit of, I'm not going to drink my calories at all. And we all know I like my beer. And so like from that standpoint, I'm not a teetotaler, but I'm talking about Starbucks, frappuccinos, that shit. And then sodas and pop and things like that. I mean, I think people are super guilty of ingesting an extra 1,000 calories a day just in liquids.
I love that you brought that up, because I'm thinking of the people that we work with in the Tactical Empire, and the men that we're going to bring into the community, and I want to simplify fitness in their lives. And so I actually reached out to my 2 older brothers last Sunday or Monday. I was like, "Hey guys, can you guys test a program for me?" Now, love my brothers. They work really hard, but they don't move their bodies. They just focus on their work, and they have families, and they come home and do their thing and do what they love around the house. But we lost our mom back in December of 2020. And I simply just told him, I said, "Sorry to be blunt here, guys, but I just can't keep my mouth shut anymore. Like, mom died because she was unhealthy. That's a fact. So let's go ahead, and can you guys, if you're willing to commit, I want you to test this program for me. And it's not going to cost you a dime. But I want you guys to commit. If you can't commit, just say no." And, shout out to my brothers. They both said yes. And I gave them 4 things to focus on. And all it was get a cold shower, walk 30 minutes a day, do not drink your calories. And I think it was one other thing, but those were the 3 main things. And in 1 week, my brother just texted me this morning. One of my brothers texted me this morning. He lost 5 pounds because he stopped drinking calories. One brother was green tea and one brother sodas. And
Yeah.
they both just stopped. I'm waiting on the response from the other one, but 5 pounds in a week. And again, the scientists will jump on it. Well, that's this and that's this and this. Like, just stop drinking your calories. That's a huge one. I'm so happy that you said that.
Well, the cumulative effect of it over a year's period of time is tremendous, and people don't really take that into account. Um, I saw one of a friend of mine from Indianapolis shared a post today about she had worked up the caloric intake of a like a mini candy bar or whatever the fuck they are for like the different ones.
Yeah.
Three Musketeers. She had like Three Musketeers, Snickers, and Reese's or something for it was a Halloween theme thing, and she had the step count associated with eating one of those each. And it was like 20, based on your size and everything else, it was like somewhere between 2,200 and 2,500 steps to eat a 100-calorie little snack size bar. And so she was like, "Parents beware." And I think that people often overlook it, just like everybody, right? Like, I mean, this is one of the things that I've really dialed in over the last 6 years, really focusing on tracking all my stats and getting data of everything. Because like you could take me 6 years ago and I'd have been like, "Oh, I'm dialed in. I've got all my shit together." And I literally was probably 50% of adherence to fucking anything. And like we give ourselves so much grace of like, well, I only drink 4 days a week, or I work out so frequently, and then you actually track it and you realize it's 2 to 3 days a week or something like that. And like it's just, I hit 10,000 steps every day. Oh, well, do you? And then you track it and you're like, well, you're really actually 63% of the time, which is not at all good. And so, I think we have a huge tendency to do that. I mean, we live in Houston. We go to Tex-Mex restaurants 4 nights a week, and there's chips and salsa everywhere. And so, like, when you take into account the cumulative caloric intake of those chips and salsa over a year's period of time, I'm only going to have a couple. And like, it's just the small little changes. Like, I think everybody gets hung up on making these wholesale workout plans and big lifestyle changes, but it's really just the simple minutia of like, instead of a 12-pack of Coke today at my office desk, I'm going to drink 6 of them instead. I mean, it's just small tweaks that will make all the difference.
I think that's the goal with the test program, was like, I don't want it to be super intimidating. And we talk about this with finances too. Before you start, decreasing spending or increasing income, or trying to have, like, if you're going to change something about money, we talk about this, you need a place where it's going to go. Because if you don't have that next thing. And so for us, it's what is going to be the good habit that you're going to put right in front of your face. Make the good thing easy to grab, or have an idea of what that's going to be. So for my brothers, it was like, I obviously want you to drink. You need to have liquid, but I need you to choose what that thing's going to be. And there's a little give and take there with them on and exactly what that's going to be. But I'd rather them be drinking a 5-calorie drink than a 250-calorie drink without a stopper on the hose. So I really like that. At my gym, we focused on not as much as what we're going to remove from your life, but what we're going to put in. I know that I was an underestimator of protein, so I've had to make protein very easily accessible to me in my life. And it's one of the first things that I plan my food and meals around. Me and my wife are probably big investors from a financial standpoint in Fairlife chocolate milk, because I think they're the most delicious thing in the world. But I'm getting 30 grams of protein just by drinking one of those. And for me, doses, and you will start by default not eating the other things.
Yep.
You're just not going to shove stuff in your food all day long when you're eating the appropriate things. You're not going to want it, period.
You stay satiated as well. Like when you asked me about my nutrition, one thing I didn't mention is like, I don't pay very much attention to it. I eat as hungry as I am. I eat as much as I want. And I try to your point, I hit 250 grams of protein every day. That is my focus. And besides that, I don't pay attention to any of it. My wife weighs and measures and does all that stuff. And like, she's got her macros dialed in. And like, I don't have the time or the patience or the care to do that. And so that doesn't, you know how I teach and I talk about like anything that causes anxiety or anxiousness or even stress in your life, you should analyze and figure out how to fix it. Like doing my macros causes me stress. And so like, it's just something that is never going to happen with any sort of consistency or longevity for me. And so the protein one was way easier because I'm just like, I've got one metric to keep track of, and okay, 30 more, 45 more.
Same.
Easy.
So I mean, 250 grams of protein is what's known as a metric shit ton. So what is your 250 grams of protein made up of on a daily basis?
Usually around 11 o'clock in the morning, I eat 4 eggs and about a half a container of egg whites. And so that'll put me about 50. Because I think there's 8 in there in each egg. And then it's actually going to put me at like 65 or 70 actually, with the half a thing of egg whites, because those are just 5 grams of protein per ounce. And so I do that. I drink a scoop of protein with that same meal. So I drink another scoop of protein that's 21 grams with my creatine and other supplements that I take. And then from there, I eat 2% cottage cheese, which is like 65 or 70 if you eat the whole tub. Post workout, sometimes I will eat a Oikos yogurt, and there's about 70 grams of protein in there if you eat the whole thing.
So much protein in Oikos yogurt, so good.
But really, and then in dinner, I almost have hunted every single thing that we eat. So all of our food, for the most part, outside of chicken, is any red meat that we eat, any ground beef. It's not beef, it's nilgai. Any ground is a mixture of nilgai and venison that we eat. So every single thing I've harvested that we've eaten for the last 2.5 years.
I love that. That's impressive. Yeah, I order for that. So we got the chicken, the clean burger, the steaks, and beefalo burgers. So 50% buffalo, 50% just typical burger meat. So one thing that we haven't tapped on: move your body, nutrition, sleep. I am so thankful that we prioritize sleep in my household as we brought kids into the world. Both of our children, we have a 6-year-old daughter and 3-year-old son. Both of our children slept in their own bedroom on day 1 of being in our house. Of course, they didn't sleep that night, but it was just establishing that rhythm. And we're pretty consistent now as they've gotten into the age group that they're in now, that, our family loves sleep. We love sleep. We are in bed, the kids are in bed around 8:30ish, and me and my wife are shortly behind. So me and my wife obviously have had to adjust when we get our quality time together. If you rewind 1.5 years, 2 years, that last 30 minutes of the night, hour of the night was us going and watching a Netflix show. It was like, it just ended up not being worth it. We started prioritizing again some other areas of our life, and that was just something for us we had to cut out. And so when my wife is coming out of the last child's bedroom, she goes right to the bedroom and lays down, and I go in and get my last 20 minutes of snuggles in, and I walk across the house and go right into bed, and we're sleeping. My wife gets up early so she can go to the gym, but she's getting 6-7 hours, and I'm getting 7-8 hours. So how's that at your house again, with many feet running around?
Yeah, our kids, same. We never let our kids sleep in our bed. That's been a thing since like day one. And whether that's right or wrong, I don't care.
It just worked for us. It worked for us. You got to figure out what works for you.
Exactly. So I go to bed early though, because this is something that you're going to deal with later, because we've got a 9 and 11-year-old, and now they're to the point where they want to stay up and do stuff with their mom, because they stay up, and now they have like quality time from 9 to 10 where they'll watch Dancing with the Stars or this other shit. And like, I go to bed at 8:45 or 9 o'clock ish. So I kind of don't sit out there and do that stuff, because I don't watch TV. They can get me to do it if we're doing like a family movie or something like that. But besides that, I don't really watch TV. But now that I'm working out at 4 o'clock in the morning, I have to get in bed by that time. Yeah. And so my wife kind of just understands that Monday through Friday that I need to get in bed by 9 o'clock, and then I get up at 3:45 in the morning. And, but on the weekends, I've never really been a sleeper. Like I just don't spend a lot of time in bed. I think it's kind of a waste of time. I used to think it was a huge waste of time, and I would like never sleep.
Yeah.
I would sleep like 4 hours a day and like keep on going, and between 4 to 6 hours. And as I've gotten older, and learned more and listened to more doctors and things like that, I do understand the because I'm pursuing longevity. And so
Yeah.
longevity is like based on sleep. I mean, there's a lot of evidence out there that it's important. So I do a little bit more sleeping on the weekends now. Our gym that's real close to our house, it doesn't open till 7 on Saturday or Sunday, which
Mm.
pisses everyone off. But for me, I'm like, well, it gives me a little bit more time. So I usually sleep till 6 on the weekends. And then I either go get the kids donuts or go work out at 7 when the gym opens. And then I can be home by the time they're all waking up. We've just got a really weird spread of kids because like they're 4 to 11, and that age gap is like they're in completely different phases,
Yeah.
obviously. Like my 11-year-old's now turning to like teenager, and she wants to stay up late and sleep in and do all that stuff. So we're like entering a new phase of life with regards to parenting, which is brings its own set of challenges, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the biggest thing that me and my wife had to work on when we brought children into the world was we knew we wanted to prioritize these areas of life, but we couldn't be so strict that we are breaking our necks to try and get it in. So the flexibility has had to be a huge aspect. And again, still own a gym. We didn't take our kids to our gym for a very long time just because the weekends were our opportunity to kind of recoup as a family. And, over the past couple months, we've been making it a point that, hey, Saturday mornings, and now actually Sundays, because we've shifted from Sunday morning church to Saturday night church, is Saturday and Sunday, our whole family goes to our gym together. And I'm so happy about that because it's something I really wanted to do, but just early on in the kids' lives, it was hectic to have them run around and try and get anything done. Now they can keep themselves entertained, and I'm not as serious as I was, a couple years ago. So it's like I can do a set and then just take an extended rest. So, but again, this is about being leaders of your household, like men, women out there. Like it starts with you first. You can't wait until everyone else or your partner is going to be on board with this thing. Just prioritize your time. Don't allocate 5 hours a day to it. Allocate 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you can do right now. And without forcing anyone else into that realm or that habit, they will catch on. That's the number one thing that I can recommend to people is do what you know is right for you and your body and your mind. You are an asset. We haven't talked about the mental health side of fitness, but that's certainly something that I keep in check as well, and doing little things and meeting with a therapist to help there. But at the end of the day, I can get 80 to 90% of the way where I need to be by moving my body, eating well, sleeping enough, and getting outside. The others, I think, are just fill in the gaps and move the needle a little bit. But the biggest movers of the needles are the ones that we've already hit today.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to realize that everybody's watching you, and in your family, in your household, everybody is watching you. So you're setting the tone for what good habits look like, what bad habits look like. I mean, you're either a deposit or a net negative. It's either a positive investment or interaction that you're making, and the tone that you're setting with your children, what you're eating, what you're doing, how you're moving your body, or you're setting bad habits for them. So when you think about the example that you are, it's not just your ability to survive longer so you can experience more of their life and be around for more of their experiences. You're also giving them the habits that they're going to kind of foster in their adolescence and their early adulthood, most likely, um, uh, for their health and fitness, and how they're going to take care of themselves. And I mean, there's so much out there right now fighting against us being healthy, and so it's important for us to educate ourselves, and it's important for us to kind of be the examples for our children, because there's not a lot of great examples out there, and everything's so processed and chemically driven, just to create more consumers. And so we really have to educate and set the tone within it starts with us and our actions, and then it goes to our household, right? And then from there, you can impact others through your actions as well. But ultimately, if you want a healthy family, it's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, with a 6 and 3 year old, I'm not trying to be someone that's just going to be in control of every single thing they eat. I try and slip in little educational things here, but like thinking back to when I was a kid, I thought dumping 3 spoonfuls of sugar in your coffee was normal because it's what my mom did. I thought having ice cream every night was normal. It's because it's what my dad did. I thought fish was disgusting because we never made it and ate it, right? And just those 3 things, that's morning, midday, and night. 3 bad habits that were ingrained in my mind. And so when I got into college and I started having a little coffee, guess what I dumped in it? Tons
Yeah.
of sugar. Guess what was in the freezer all the time? Ice cream. Guess what I never ate? Fish. And it turns out that all 3 of those things I should be doing pretty much the opposite. And so I like a little creamer in my coffee, but I don't put sugar in there. I have ice cream, once or twice a week, smaller servings than normal. And I certainly eat fish a couple times a week.
I just think that like you don't have to be hard line about it. Like my
Right.
wife and I have always just been like, kids are going to be kids. They're going to enjoy themselves. You don't have to be crazy about it. But like the more you can talk and add in those educational opportunities, like our 9 and 11-year-old girls now are very curious about nutrition and they have all the questions now.
Mm.
They want to know what's healthy. They know their core macronutrients as far as like proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. And so we talk about those all the time. And but it's never been something that we were like disciplinarian about
Yeah.
or like something like that that was really like hard line. And so there's ways to go about it where it doesn't have to consume you or change your life or experience or relationship with your kids at all. That said, I've probably talked too long on fitness and nutrition because we've gone over a half hour. So you got anything else?
That's it, man. If you guys are listening and there's any tidbits or things that you've implemented in your life that would be good for the good of the order, please let us know. Shoot us a message. I love hearing little tricks and tips that people have when it comes to their fitness and all the areas of life, especially the parents out there. I know it's hard, and give yourself grace and let your kids have the Kit Kat, and I'll steal the Twix.
Absolutely. And hop into the Tactical Empire community. It's a free community on Facebook. We do talk a lot about this stuff in there and provide accountability and kind of a cheerleading group, if you will, so if you're trying to dial in your health and fitness or anything like that, hop in there. We'll be available to talk to you, give you tips, tricks, and keep you accountable. So have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the show. Make sure you subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend. We'll see you on the next episode of the Tactical Empire.